My Hero Academia Season 6, Episode 21. All Might's car gets hit, trying to get him away from Deku. Bold of them attacking All Might, if they even know it's him. Still got it. Even without his powers, I would bet on All Might.
Is that All Might? Don't back down.
Whoops.
This doesn't change our job.
Damn, bold of you.
Look at him.
Bold of this guy.
The #1 hero we knew and feared died a long time ago.
No, that's where you're horribly wrong. Just for so many reasons, All Might is still gonna destroy them. First of all, even without his peak powers, All Might's gone through decades of battle experience. That's muscle memory at this point, even if his strength is reduced. Secondly, and maybe more importantly, is one of the ideas of the show that I'm convinced of at least, which is that the powers are really great and awesome, and they're there for fun, but that's not really what's at the core of the themes of heroism. It's about who they are. All Might is that hero, you know? He was the #1 hero, and not just in terms of some ranking. He's the same person with or without his powers. I think that's key.
Yeah, guess you're right.
Right, now we get the promise.
Step aside.
Yeah, no surprise. Even without this promise, these two don't stand a chance.
Has been carrying a burden far heavier than mine, and I gave it to him.
I kind of feel pity for these two.
He continues to idolize me.
All Might defeating them with his raw swagger.
Whatever happens to that young man, it'll be over my dead body.
Oof, yeah. That's how that should have gone. That's exactly right. They're staring into the face of God right now. I don't know what they were expecting. Plus, doesn't he also have some fraction of his powers left? Deku and All Might's relationship is so beautiful. It's so great. It's a student-teacher relationship at its face, but it's so much more than that also. I mean, they deeply admire each other. They push each other forward. Episode 21, The Lovely Lady Nagant.
I'll zigzag to avoid the line of fire and keep her from guessing my path. Then, get close! My speeds with One For All have gotten faster.
Deku's so plus ultra, he's gonna outspeed a bullet.
A bullet? No way!
My only weakness, bullets.
I don't sense any other hostility nearby.
She has bullets. I've been calling this in Season 1.
Damn it! I see now.
Alright, the air step.
This power will dramatically expand the range and accuracy of your attacks.
Right.
Why does this feel so Cowboy Bebop?
In that case, 6! Full blast!
Smoke screen.
Hey, Knight, keep it together. Did you already forget what I told you before? It's way too risky to put out that much smoke.
He's scared. He just got shot.
I just needed to buy some time.
Whoa, wait.
What are you doing?
You're joking.
What are you doing?
Are you doing what I think you are?
What is he doing?
Idea. I can see what you're attempting to do right now.
That makes one of us. New quirk that we haven't seen.
First off, you need to be able to do 2 things at once without concentration. When you master that, that's something else.
Step 1, smoke screen. Step 2, spaz out.
Third, Fajin!
I'm intrigued and also concerned.
A decoy.
You just gave away your position.
You might be right, if that was my plan!
Cut up to her.
He's somehow faster than before.
Some kind of fire legs? Fire wheels?
You think you've won?
No, that's not her only skill.
I don't get it! You used to be a hero!
The just world you've been sold is a lie. You've been brainwashed. You'll never understand the truth.
Try him. Try us. This is Deku's new thing, getting to know you. Know your villain. Oh my god, he's getting shredded up.
From behind?
I was exhausted. I killed so many.
There it is. She's talking at least.
When someone is capable of shaking the foundation of this society, they can't be tried. They have to disappear quietly.
Whoa, they were a hit squad.
Wait! We haven't done anything yet! This is just talk!
This is...
Maintain the
wow.
status quo, the government needed a public face and a secret one. So I obeyed. And obeyed.
Damn, this is graphic.
And obeyed.
Finally, after all this time, this is substantiating something that I've been wondering about since the beginning. Hero societies just seemed a little bit too clean. It seemed too much of a coincidence that the powers behind the existing infrastructure were all so morally upstanding and intelligent about how to run society. It's gotta be messier than that, right? It's pretty horrifying, but at the same time, kind of awesome that was deliberate in large part. The fact that the hero society seemed so upstanding and virtuous and careful, if what she's saying is to be believed, was deliberate because that was their public face, their operating face. face. That's a big reveal for the audience and also for Deku, who I think needs to hear this. I'm actually really excited for him to get this information. It fits perfectly in with this arc and this timing of him being out on his own and Hero Society being kind of in shambles, because it's a separation for him. It's one I've been waiting for a long time, where he defines what heroism means to him regardless and despite the structures that exist. This creates a great opportunity for him to evaluate exactly what that is, because it'll probably be him and his fellow teammates who reshape society. This has been under everyone's noses for 6 seasons. This also might shed some light on Hawks and his actions, because this is the world that he was born into or grew up into.
Lady Nagant! Oh wow! Can I shake your hands? Me too! You're the best!
Sure, but only if you kids have been good.
Just gotta put on a bright face. For the kids, for the children who have no idea.
It's all a sham.
It does seem that way.
You think that by killing them, society will be improved? If we don't show people the bad side of things, that's brainwashing by omission.
Yeah, that'll come out. They're paying for that now.
Wouldn't you agree that the most important thing for us to do is maintain the hope that public-facing heroes have brought the world?
How's that going, that maintaining for you now?
This is not a job you can quit.
This is another symptom of the same disease.
Chairman, you were a strong leader.
The media reported that you killed fellow heroes!
That's how they would spin it. So much image spinning.
The hero world everyone admires as a force of good is nothing but an illusion.
How does Deku react to this?
History will repeat itself. Bright-eyed hopefuls will be chewed up and spit out. All for one's future makes more sense than that!
Wow. She's not wrong, right? Like, she's identified a real evil. And to her credit, she stopped doing what she felt was wrong when she woke up to it and set about to try to make things right. I think the obvious issue is that All for One is definitely not better. Or, not to make a comparison one way or the other, he's not good. She's left one evil for another. Earlier with All Might, I was saying that heroism is not the powers, right? Well, I think that's one of the questions that the show is trying to answer. And I think even to this point has done a great job answering the question of what does it mean to be a hero? And it's definitely not the powers for me. And another thing it's not is the established institution. It's not about what side you're on. It's not about who you're allied with. Doesn't matter what the name of your organization is. Doesn't matter what labels you have or what you call yourself. I think in a large sense, it's going to be a much more personal journey. I think there's this idea that if you put your hands in the right group of people, that somehow by extension makes you good. But it ignores a couple things. Like, one, you take any group of people and you're going to find probably a similar breakdown to the average of any group of people who are actually, great and well-meaning and wholesome and intelligent, deeply realized, and people who are going about things selfishly. And then maybe even people who are just terrible and enjoy misery of others, although I think that's rare. And if I had to guess, probably the majority would just be people who don't really know and are kind of doing the best they can, sort of ended up where they are based on circumstance and maybe just due to where they were born or due to the circumstances of their life. It also misses the fact that adopting a label does not confer onto you any virtues. It doesn't mean you're strong. It doesn't mean you're good. It just means that you've nominally adopted a title, which anybody can do. Evidence of that is the fact that just about anybody affiliated with any group most likely thinks they are great because they belong to that group. But it can't all be true, right? Like, not every group is great. So that act in itself probably does not convey any real meaning. And in fact, I think that very phenomenon is something that people who would use their positions for evil rely on the fact that people will think that belonging to a group has that kind of transitory property. That is a tool from which they can gain support. If you can give people a positive emotion about you, or maybe even better, a negative emotion about people who you oppose, that goes a long way in gaining their support. And the public is to blame too. The public ate that up to a certain extent, at least. Another one of this show's themes, I think, is about personal responsibility and each person doing their best and rising to the level of heroism they can, and that the sum of those people will be the solution. That will actually be the answer that will make society strong. What Lady Nagant is not counting on is the fact that Deku is heroic not because he's hero affiliated. It's not because he's done all the tests and licensing exams. It's because it's who he is and he's aligned with higher purposes, mainly just genuine service and self-sacrifice towards his fellow man.
The hell? He's mapping my movements from the trajectory of the bullet.
I can't wait till Deku has a chance to process this and actually discuss it. Yeah, oh, he's doing it mid-battle.
But now, little by little, I think I'm starting to understand.
Yes.
Nothing is truly black and white.
Well, he's adopting this information really well. Not even any resistance. No denial. He's just listening.
That's exactly why! I have to keep reaching my hand out to help!
Damn it, Deku! Why is he so amazing?
Product of their indoctrination.
She's totally underestimating him. And he says all this with like 5 bullet holes in him.
Is that Chisaki?
There's a lot going on right now. There's a whole lot going on.
Now I have you!
Oh, is she going to use his self-sacrifice against him? That actually is a great strategy for Deku. Why does Deku just... Oh, man. I don't know how, like, even though I expect it, he still blows me away. It's who I know him to be, but nevertheless, it never gets old for me. I love this kid. Just saw right through it, you know? And this is the society in which he was born into, raised into, dreamed of being a part of his whole life, almost died for countless times, put his total faith in, but does he deny what she says? Does he deny the evils in front of him? Does he write her off? No, because that's not where his heart is. His first thought is immediately... setting things right and helping people. Instead of running away from it, he sees his responsibility in it. I think it takes a lot to recognize the flaws in where you've stood, to try to see things not as they paint the best picture for you and who you are and where you stand, but just the truth, whatever that means, and then to try to do your best with that, even though it's more difficult, I think. Deku being a perfect avatar of that, who always will take the maximum burden he can to do what he feels is right. There's another pitfall there too, which Deku definitely won't fall into, but Lady Nagant has fallen into, where you realize the evils of where you've been, and you then become antagonistic towards it, to the point where you have changed sides, but you perhaps have not learned anything. Maybe you feel bitter about the betrayal. Maybe you get a new boost of identity by feeling like you're a rebel, and then you just become totally opposed to the group you feel has wronged you or does wrong, and can fall into the same issues, same problems, same mental trappings, and same evil that you were trying to escape in the first place.
I've met your target before.
Huh?
Kid stopped me from enacting my plan.
Yeah, we have history.
Bad case of hero syndrome.
Yeah, he does.
I'm not looking for revenge. I've lost everything. There's only one thing that's left for me to do. I just want to talk to the old man.
Fine, Pops. Honestly, if I was Overhaul, the person that I want revenge against is not Deku.
When you can't save somebody, your conscience is destroyed.
New power we haven't seen yet? Bullet stopping power? Fire legs.
Work! Fajin!
Oh yeah, Fajin.
By repeating a motion over and over again, I can temporarily store kinetic energy to be released later.
That's why he was spazzing out.
Plus, one for all at 45%! Plus, centrifugal force!
Let's turn into like a Yu-Gi-Oh battle. These powers just stack, I guess.
Moving faster than a speeding bullet!
Alright, Superman.
Full 100%!
Impossible.
He just beat a bullet. I was making fun of him for it before, but he really did plus ultra that bullet speed.
I'll come for you later, Chisaki.
Alright, you just stay there.
He couldn't process those powers fast enough and froze up. After figuring that out, he narrowed his scope to one for all Black Whip and Fajin this time.
We're not finished!
Just wait till he has all of those powers unlocked simultaneously at 100%.
Manchester! Smash!
Manchester Smash! Wow. We have left
The
America.
barrel's broken! It's over, Lady Nagant!
Now just sit down and listen to him for 5 seconds.
When did empty sentiments start making me sick?
Deku's a real one, though. Nothing empty about him.
If you really believed in All for One's future, your first bullet would have hit my spine and paralyzed me. You've seen the darkness
Deku's seeing
in this
right
world,
through it.
so you know what needs to be brought into the light.
Whoa!
Our society exists in the gray area, swirling with anxiety and anger. That's exactly why I have to keep reaching my hand out to help!
Got a new ally. This is the new Deku.
You are
What is happening? Why is she
a
cracking?
hero.
What? What just happened? Wait, what? Did All for One put in some kind of like self-destruct thing? I was really hoping she would join, because that's what Deku has been working on. A lot of his reflections recently have been about taking the time to understand his enemy, with the hope that they become not enemies in the build-up to trying to save Shigaraki. This is a really great first showing of that, and I'm glad it happened with her and not Muscular, because man, is that guy annoying.
I made a few preparations in the event of an unfortunate breach of contract.
Yeah, there it is.
God, no!
Having a Spider-Man moment right about now.
I won't let you die!
Hawks! Hawks understands her pain. So that means there's a chance for her.
Endeavor!
Oh, his little wings.
Hold on, Hawks! I can't be sure, but I don't think she meant to do that!
She's booby-trapped.
It's not too late for you, okay? You don't have to throw everything away!
I don't know, she kind of just inside out exploded.
Help us create a future you can be proud of! Take control of your own life! You're Lady Nagant! And you are a hero!
Yeah, this does shed a lot of light on Hawks' life.
In all this chaos, with no control over the future, How can you people keep fighting? In 2 months, at a mansion in Ibori Woods.
Okay, we have a lead. I don't think she's gonna make it.
How do you still keep going?
Because there was someone who helped me out. Also, I'm an optimistic guy.
You said you were going to take me to him! I need to visit Pops.
Endeavor just looks disappointed.
Apologize to Eri, and in return I'll fulfill Nagant's promise. You have my word on that front.
Wow. Never imagined this kind of thing would happen.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm alright.
All Might just endangering his whole life for this status check and his car.
All for one.
I love this episode. I think it's such a long time coming for this reveal into the actual underpinnings of the society that we've been enjoying for so long watching the show and trusting in. Always had my suspicions, and I've always wondered how it would affect Deku. And man, was I not disappointed. I've been talking about Deku going out on his own, discovering his own ideals for a long time, and I'm really glad it happened. I think what I missed was the fact that he was already there. There's this question of what is the highest thing you can aim for, and I think Deku aims for something like the highest point. And so what is this reveal to him really? You know, it doesn't change anything about who he is and what he wants. It's just information for him to adapt to. It's kind of like that saying from Master Roshi, one of my favorite quotes, "The truth is only painful if you lead a life of lies." This would wound Deku deeply if who he was just a function of him being admired, let's say, or him telling himself he couldn't be deluded, or he couldn't make a mistake, or he couldn't be allied with the wrong people, or that him being in Hero Society, capital letters, you know, from a technical perspective, being licensed, etc., is what gives him value. But it's not. He believes in something much higher. And also he has no fear of living without it. He has no fear of living without those restraints because of his dedication to who he is and what he wants. So the information that Hero Society contains corruption is a reveal to him as important information, but it's not defining. And so he's free from it. Instead, his thought is the same as it always is, which is, what can I do? What can I do with the powers I have to make things as good as I want them to be? Lady Nagant is a good counterpoint to that because she is someone who believed deeply in Hero Society and did things she felt were wrong because she didn't know any other way or was afraid to break out for a long time. Sort of put a blind, faithful eye in them and just became slowly bitter over time, to the point where her resentment pushed her to the other extreme when she finally was able to break out of it. In that light, I also think the flashback was perfect because, you know, she's talking about what kind of society do you think you're building? You know, do you really think you're making things better? This is an example of institutionalized Hero Society reaping what they sow. I also love the final scene having Deku demand an apology for Eri. You know, it's not like he doesn't have grudges. It's not like he doesn't have anger towards Overhaul, but he's able to show restraint and try to do some good in a way that strikes me as being very unselfish.